Well, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Well, you're wiping the glasses. Scott's back in action. You got your. So what are you wearing there? Looks like a house coat. That a
Well,
house
you know
coat?
what? We went over and played a little trivia and got some chicken wings. And as soon as we got out of the cars, when that rain hit, and it was, we got, and then I got in the restaurant place, and the air conditioning was on, so it was freezing. So I ran out there, and I keep this in my little side panels in my Dodge pickup truck, and it's kind of warm, so I've had it on.
Yeah, I got chilly too. So we're both. You know what? I like a little fall chill. The first few fall chill nights are kind of nice, kind of cozy, kind of festive.
Yeah, I was just up in the mountains, and it got fall and chilly at about 36 in the evenings, at nighttime overnight. Especially with that little rain and dampness, man. It had a little frost on the windshields in the morning. But you know what? I love fall to death. I hate when it gets here.
You do?
Yeah, because I know. I just looked at the yesterday. My big metal snow shovel is sitting out there, and I'm thinking, God dang it, I'm going to pull that sucker out here pretty
Ah,
soon.
you calm down. Not yet. Let's think good thoughts.
That's what I'm saying. That's why fall. I love the fall weather.
I do love the fall weather. I don't feel like we get enough of it, frankly.
I just hate when
Um,
fall. Well, there you go. See, that's why I hate. I hate because cold ass winter's coming.
well, but hopefully
Oh,
it
I
don't
got to
show
tell
up
you
till
something
January.
real fast. So the warden is in a women's golf league every Wednesday morning.
Yep, yep.
Guess who had her second hole in one in her life today?
I heard the story as you jumped on your show again. How many have you had?
Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. What picture did she send you to tell you?
She FaceTimed me, and she didn't say a word. She just answered. She got her golf glove on, and she's
She just goes two.
just put two fingers up
Now
for her second.
that costs you a little bit of money though, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, well the good thing is that they teed off. What time did y'all tee off? Seven something. 7:30. So they were back in the clubhouse at 9:30. Let's just put it this way: people don't do a lot of drinking at
Yeah.
9:30 in the morning. Her tab was $35.
See, that's living right. If you're
That's
going to go
living
ahead and
right.
nail a hole in one, that's what. So why is it you buy everybody a drink and they don't all got to buy you a drink?
I think you know how that started is because when you get a hole in one, you don't care if you got to pay a little extra because you want everybody to know.
Yeah, I agree. And yet, I also feel like it's because back in the day, really only the rich kind of play golf, and so they had the money to do it. And now a few Happy Gilmore folks have kind of popped in, and
I tell you what, I've never met one person that would say, okay, you can never get a hole in one in your life, or you're going to pay $150 on a bar tab if you do. They'd all
okay,
probably go, I'm going to figure a way to get that 150. Now, her dad got a hole in one once. He was fortunate. It was like a men's league tournament or something, right? He was fortunate because there was a second hole in one that day, and so they got to split the tab. And
ooh,
prisoner 581115's half share of the bar tab was $350.
he picked the wrong day to go play golf.
Well, but
Apparently,
he
there were a
also
lot of
picked.
people playing some
Hey,
golf that
I
day.
just talked to him about it. He goes, "I was sure glad somebody else got a hole in one that day.
Good God,
That
yeah,
that was
I
a
think
seven
yeah.
hundred dollar tab if you had to do it by yourself."
Okay. See, I don't play enough golf that it means that. I mean, it'd be cool. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to say I have a hole in one, but I don't play
I,
enough
I
golf that
knew a
I think I'm ever
guy.
going to get one. How about that?
I knew a guy in this, and he was, and gosh, if it's who I think he is, and I won't give you any names. He's back from my hometown, and he just passed away like in the last day or so. But he was known as a big talker, but a cheap wad, right? And he had a good job, made a lot of good money, and all that stuff. Our little club back home, you start off on a par three, hits a hole in one. This starts the day. Your first shot of the day, you hit a hole in one. Second shot of the day was a kind of long par five. He holed out from outside the green for a three. He went eagle, eagle, to start his day. They said the next thing you know, he had grabbed his bag from the back of his cart and walked off the cart into the parking lot and went home because he didn't want to have to pay for drinks for anybody. He had 2 eagles back to back and didn't finish his round.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. All right. Well, congrats to the warden.
Yeah.
So,
some of us have to work for a living.
Yeah, because you got to keep paying for these hole-in-ones she keeps getting.
Yeah.
That's what you got to do. All right.
The way my back's been feeling, I'm here to say, sadly, I'm not sure I'll ever. The way I'm feeling again today, I'm not sure I'll ever play golf ever again. So I think it's one thing. Raquel Welch and holes in one are 2 things I'll never have in my life.
I'm positive about Raquel Welch.
Although I do have a picture with her somewhere.
She's still going?
No, she passed away a few years.
I was going to say, I don't want to kill anybody off on this podcast, but I'm not sure.
Is not every single radio host that's ever done it for more than a decade? Hasn't everybody who's done this always killed off at least one person?
Oh yeah, I do it. I do it all the time.
Bittersweet. It's late for Daddy. Daddy tired today.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, folks. We're probably moving this to Tuesday, and if we go to Tuesday, then I don't know if you want to go to 8:30, we could go to 8:30. But we gotta talk some Broncos. We have to get a little Avs. Want to get your thoughts on the Buffs? I feel excited because normally you and I have already talked 15 times about stuff before we get on this podcast, and you've been in the mountains with your boys, and I've had about 1,000 things going on, so we haven't really talked about the game. I don't really know how you feel about the game. I really don't.
Well, I went back today and I watched last year's Broncos at Chargers game, and part of it stemmed from I was listening to the morning show, and Coach was sitting in with the morning show, and everybody's talking about, well, the Chargers just absolutely handled the Broncos last year, and I'm like, okay. So I watched this game. Broncos at one time in that game had a 24-13 lead.
No, the first half was all them. Listen, you want to know why I remember it? I'll tell you why I remember it, Scotty. Because the second game came right before Christmas. If you remember, they flexed it to Thursday. It was supposed to be like the day before Christmas or something, and that got everybody fired up. I was running those watch parties, so it was the Thursday before Christmas. A lot of people were in town. They were ready to party. We were down at Stoney's. It was like one of the best bar remotes I'd ever done for a half. I mean, everybody's ready to go. We're giving away prizes. It's Christmas. Everyone's in a good mood. The Broncos may lock up a playoff spot. And all of a sudden, the second half, it got weird at the half with that stupid kick thing and the free kick that Harbaugh was able to get, if you remember. And then kind of like this Colts game, which is maybe where you're going, the offense it was just not there in the second half.
Well, and that's what it started getting me thinking, just how many games, and D-Mac brought up that Kansas City game at the end of the year, and I don't say this disrespectful. I don't think you count anything for that game. I mean,
I certainly don't.
Yeah, that was a given. But I'm trying to think how many games we've seen since Sean Payton's been here, and I know you had a year with Russ. We've actually seen like 4 quarters of great offense.
Again, they're almost going to be games you don't want to count because it would either be it possibly was Tampa Bay last year, or it was Carolina, or it was Atlanta. That was about it. You know what? I'll give another one. How about Cleveland? Cleveland, the Monday night Cleveland game, we all had a lot of fun. They kept answering because they had to. Yeah. So that was probably, but again, none of the teams I mentioned are playoff opponents except for, I guess, Tampa Bay.
And the point being, I feel like teams in the past have adjusted what Denver's doing offensively, but I don't know how quickly we adjust back or to something different also. And, they scored 6 points. I think 6 points, field goal in the third, field goal in the fourth, in that the Charger game last year. Then they scored what? They scored 6 points again in the second half of the Indy game, I think, right?
No, they had a touchdown drive because it was 21-20.
That's right.
They came out, got their touchdown drive, made it 28-20, and then that was it.
Yeah. They scored 7 points at that early drive in the third quarter, as I remember. But I don't know. On one hand, I think you guys, Nate did it, talking about how Kansas City's not going to keep winning these one-score games. And well, that seems to become about a little bit. And I asked Nate, because I was hung over in that crossover thing a little bit, and I said, well, how many, Denver won all the games they were supposed to. They're going to keep winning all the games they're supposed to. Now, Indy may, who knows? They may be surprising everybody. Taylor looked like a top 2 or 3 back in the league running against Denver. But that's a game you kind of think, if you're a playoff team and a team that's going to try to win the AFC West, that's a game you're supposed to win. And you had every bit of chance. I still think that's a ticky-tack call at the end, whether it's the right call.
Oh, there's no doubt it is.
It's still ticky. And it's also punitive. I mean, for what he didn't do to deserve 15 yards, but that's what's in the rules, so I'm cool with that. But just felt like we gave one away. I will say this: had they found a way and won that game, that kick is no good. You win the game, 28-26. I wonder how big this game is going to be played up this week with Kansas City starting 0-2. They got to go to the Giants, but they're starting 0-2, and you got the Chargers and the Broncos both at 2-0. Boy, that sure would have looked nice. That had garnered a little national attention for this game coming up on Sunday, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and I believe it's another 205. That might have bumped them to 225. Now, I might be wrong. Maybe I'm just getting it confused with the first two. But look, here's my thing. I want to go back to something that you said that I think is interesting, because I know you're speaking the way a lot of people feel. And I think it's funny that you say it, because you were the first one to give people a warning. But we're upset because we think Indy's a bad team. Well, not necessarily you, but I think the collective we fan base. Let's go back to D-Mac talked. I remember D-Mac was pretty confident they were going to beat him. Mark Springer certainly was confident they were going to beat him. I think Nate said that they were going to beat him. I kept saying it's a weird place. I thought they'd win a close one, and I guess they almost did. But for the most part, and jumping in the comments, we got them all coming in front of us. There's Storch now, too, Sweets, a lot of our regulars. Coloradan, we're good to see you, Colorado Dan. I always add the Colorado. It's just Colorado Dan. Look, man, everybody thought the Colts are going to be bad. Here's my thing about this game. I'm not going to go all Debbie Downer about it right now, because Daniel Jones, first off, played a hell of a game, which I heard you warn some people. He looked pretty good. I don't know if I'd be counting him out just yet. He played a hell of a game. He was accurate the whole day. He was not sailing a lot of passes. And you know what I thought was funny? Honestly, Scotty, I think Sean Payton got Sean Payton. It looked to me like Shane Steichen took Daniel Jones and told him the same thing Payton told Bo Nix. Just get rid of the damn ball, man. Don't be taking sacks. Take the short crap. We'll live with it. And they got a running back they actually believe in and run a lot more than we do. So then you give them a full dose of that. They actually got the Joker guy that can catch a ball out of the backfield and take it somewhere. And now Ty Warren's a problem. And, I know everybody that hates. I know that half this town for some reason hates having the number one corner in the league and an all-pro. And that's fine. I'm never going to change your mind that I'd still take him all day, every day over every other guy they could have had. But he had a bit of a rough game. Okay, it's going to happen. I got news for you. You don't have a great matchup for Ty Warren. The guy that was supposed to be covering Ty Warren last week was Dre Greenlaw, and he ain't healthy, so he didn't get it done. So I'm going to just say this. I'm not going to get too upset about this loss just yet, because Indy may join you in the playoff field this year if they keep playing this way, if you can get there.
They can win their division, that's for sure.
Oh, that division. Dude, what happened to C.J. Stroud, man? Good night, but neither here nor there.
But that offensive line at Houston looks very iffy.
No, I would agree with you. All right, dude, so here's the other thing I think is kind of funny, by the way. Just another side note. Sean Payton keeps bringing all his Sean Payton people here, and you can point to a ton of Sean Payton people as to why he lost that game, okay? Sean Payton, first off, I think there were points where he could have kept hammering the ball. I hate the formations. When I talk about running the ball, you get into shotgun and handing it to the guy next to you. That ain't running the ball.
It's tough.
I don't like that. Get your big personnel out there because guess what? J.K. Dobbins sees those cutback lanes. Let him do his thing. So he hires Darren Rizzi, who called the block. I don't care. And a bunch of people writing, oh, Dallas set a record. All right, this guy never made more than a 55-yard field goal. And he's been on 3 teams in the pros. Why did you call a block to begin with? It's a damn 60-yarder. Jump up, but what are you putting on your block for? I read something out of Indianapolis where that long snapper, they'd study what Rizzi likes to do. He set him up to get that leverage call, by the way. Set him up to get that leverage call. Maybe I'll have to send you that little article.
No, we read the article, and then we watched the film on it, and Tyler pointed out that having played special teams and field goal protect all of his career, he said, that guy didn't do nothing special.
All right.
He ain't doing nothing special.
All right. Well, all I know is they got the call. So your special teams guy you had to bring in and fire everybody else got you. He calls a block, no matter what Sean wants to say.
Which the point being is distract him, yell at him, jump up and down. The guy makes a 60 to win it with no time on the clock, okay. But, and I was with you because they kept saying that on the broadcast. He has never missed a field goal in the deploy. And I go, well, how's he on his 3rd team in 4 years?
Well, and I told one of these guys on here, my boy Stan was one of the guys watching the game with me. And I told him, I said to my guys, he's going to miss this. He's going to miss it when he tried the 60-yarder. And sure enough, he did. So
not only was it not on target, it was short.
Dude, it was a no-hoper. It was a no-hoper. It was almost as bad as the kid from Tennessee trying to kick against Georgia. Now, the other thing is you got your boy Will Lutz, who we had to have. And look, Will's been a good kicker. But again, Will Lutz, the weirdest kick I've ever seen, looks like one of your wife's golf shots that maybe doesn't go the way she wants it to and drains the upright. So you miss a field goal kick there. Troutman, another guy you had to have, is the one that grabs the face mask and costs it. There's just a part of me that, look, if you can't tell, I respect Sean Payton's coaching ability, but I get frustrated with some of the stuff I see at times. And
I said it either last week or 2 weeks ago. I'm ready to let somebody else play call.
I'm with you.
I think the play calling in Colorado or in the Denver Boulder area is very shady at best.
Oh, I'm sure CSU fans have plenty they like to talk about too, because remember 2 weeks ago is when they should have lost the game to UNC. So,
well, we can throw Fort Collins in there too. Then,
yeah, we'll just say all together.
Or maybe Air Force, and they're limited to what they're going to do anyway. They're going to do the same thing all the time anyway.
All right, let me ask you this. Because you and I weren't exactly banging the Super Bowl hype train drum, but are you a little more worried about are you getting the vibe? Because I asked Chad Brown, you told me you did hear the interview. Chad Brown talking about he thought that defensive line wasn't hold up as well as maybe they appeared to in the preseason, kind of caught my ear yesterday in our interview. Did we overestimate some of this defense? Did we overestimate the overall unit? Now, again, I don't think it's fair because some of the comments we made think Dre Greenlaw would be in there at least at the beginning, and he hasn't been. And they're not. Look, their last year's defense without Dre Greenlaw. That's a big key right there.
Well, and Leggy on our show today pointed out you didn't have Roach. He says your best nose tackle. That he wasn't in there, and now you don't have Greenlaw, so your whole inside of what you're hoping to be, neither guy plays.
Well, so did we overshoot it?
Well, again, I think you got to be, if you're not just panicking on the offense, and listen, they still got 28 points.
Yeah, it's about, you know what? I'll real quick, I'll say this. The offense, I didn't know if they could go bullet for bullet, if you will, and they did. So good for them. I still tip my cap to them. I just wish you would have been consistent.
In the first half.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that, really, if you go back even to that Carolina game, Carolina was creasing right up the middle in that game early on, too. Remember the first possession or two, they're going right up the middle. Boom, boom, boom.
You're talking about the Titans, you mean? Tennessee?
Not Carolina. Tennessee. They were running up the middle a little bit on them, too. In fact, didn't they drive down and get a field goal on the first series, I believe, or something?
Yeah.
I think it's too soon. To sit there and complete out panic. And everybody panic on a Surtain. I mean, he's still the catches he gave up were still less, like 9 yards or 8 yards a catch. I mean,
There
a
are no
couple
TDs.
of offs, a couple of them were he's cheating to help over here, comes over here. I'm not worried about him at all. Notice they didn't try to hit any big hitters on him. There was no big hitters. They were all, 1, 2, 3, boom, hit. 1, 2, boom, hit. 1, 2. Okay. A lot of great ones give up shot and stuff like that too. But so I am not worried about him. I am worried about the interior of the defense. You and I talked before the season started. Getting Dre Greenlaw was about taking a really good defense and taking it to another level. Well, you don't have that. Hufanga, I think, has been great. He's been fine, but there's nothing up in the interior that's scaring anybody right now.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. Look, in Alex Singleton, I like Alex Singleton. I think he's good for the room. I think he's a good veteran leader. Alex Singleton to me looks like a 30-year-old, 32-year-old guy trying to play linebacker in a league that knows. Because, look, man, they went after him on coverage. Did you realize, I asked Negan about the snap count. Did you realize he played every snap defensively? How about that? You know what I mean? Like, again, that's too many for a guy that age. I'm sorry. And look, I know he's a warrior. I love his grit, but he's a liability trying to cover these backs. To me, Singleton's like the linebacker you and I grew up with. That middle linebacker that's there to meet the guy in the hole and play between not go covering a back out of the backfield.
And it was really never asked to cover anybody to the outside.
Right.
Yeah, I was watching the game with my boys, and I pointed out earlier, I said, 49 watched, he cannot get into coverage, and he's always going to be trailing. And there was 3 or 4 on a couple of their early drives. I mean, who's chasing the tight end? Who's chasing the back? Well, it's 49, everything single time. But, listen, it is what it is. They decided to keep him. What was it, Bailey that played so good during the preseason?
Lavelle Bailey, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, where's he at?
Well, he was on the practice squad. They better elevate him, and I don't know why you're not trying to play him. Look, at some point they're going to have to make some decision on what's going on with Greenlaw. Now, look, because he starts out on the side field, and Nick Keismeier made it sound like, well, then maybe he'll go to the main field, tomorrow. But if he doesn't, dude, and now you're looking at possibly a month without that guy. Ugh.
Well, I will say this: you got to find a way to survive and get a win, and I think it's going to be tough. I think you're going to play your best. I don't even think there's a question. And this is giving Indy props because they may be better than we all think. But Chargers are real. What's his
Chargers
name?
right now may be the class of the division.
Well, what's his name on ESPN? The guy that played backup quarterback all them years.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky.
Orlovsky said that he thinks that the Chargers are the most complete team in the NFL right now.
They might be.
Well,
now,
I've watched Philadelphia for 2 weeks, and I think they're pretty damn good. So you put Chargers up with groupings like that?
Oh, by the way, Philadelphia, the Chargers, and the Bengals are your next 3 games. It goes Chargers, Bengals, Philly.
Now, I will say this. The Bengals game may have gotten just a little bit easier.
Okay, but you got to take advantage of it now, right? I don't disagree with you, but you better take advantage of it now.
Yeah, you got to beat that team by 2 scores.
Because I'll tell you this. I didn't think they'd beat the Bengals, so I think that's how you get a win back. That I thought you had the Indy win and a Cincy loss. Flip that, and you're okay.
Well, if I'm being honest with you, I'm with you. I thought they'd be 1-1 too. But I go back to what you said a while ago, and I know I delve too much and live too much in history, but I'm with you. They're just something about playing in Indy. They just don't seem to get over the hump very often.
Well, the Jets game might have got a little bit easier. Justin Fields, although here's the problem with the Jets game. The Jets game now, it's in London, so you're going to funky time zone. Then you got to come back and face the Giants without a bye week, man. It's just
you're going to London. I think someone told me they're not leaving till like Friday.
All right, good luck. Hope that works.
Yeah.
I know they're going to be in Philly. They're not coming back here after Philly, I was told, so I don't know what's going on, but okay.
Well, where do
Isn't
they
that kind of funny?
They go Philly, New York, right? Or in Philly, London, I mean.
Philly, London, then back to play the Giants. So, And by the way, Russell Wilson went off for $450 the other day.
he looked pretty good till overtime. That was a
He
terrible.
did. Well,
Terrible
look,
throw.
and here's the other thing. I did watch a lot of their game the first week because I got Red Zone for free. I think we all did. Russ did not look good at all game one, so whatever. Yeah, man, I don't know. All right, Evan Ingram. We make too big a deal about Evan Ingram.
Evan Ingram.
Now, I think he's hurt. He didn't practice today, but I mean, where the hell is Evan Ingram?
Evan Ingram, and I'm trying to think of another free agent from the offensive side. And it's only 2 games. Listen, a lot of this stuff right now, I'll give you gut feelings, and I'm not necessarily going to give you real feelings or the truth. Evan Ingram's starting to feel like a bust to me of a free agent.
Well, I
mean, he had no targets in the first preseason game. He had 1 catch in that second one with the second unit, and he took it for 53 yards or whatever it was.
Against a base coverage defense.
Yeah, and he didn't play in the third game. Or did he play in the third game? I think
no.
he got a couple catches early. Nothing in game 1. I don't. He didn't. Do you have a? He didn't have a catch in game 1 and had 1 yesterday or Sunday.
I guess he had 1 Sunday. I barely remember it if he did. I mean, maybe he had 1 towards the end.
Like, and listen, first of all, and you'll agree with this. And everybody said he's more of a wide receiver type tight end. Okay, great. I didn't expect him to be as little as he is.
Well, I agree with you, but also there's just, again, it's, and look, I knew he hurt that cap, man. A guy fell on his leg and like flattened his foot against Tennessee, and it looked like it hurt. It looked like it screwed some things up. Okay, you're right. So I'm sure his calf is not right. But nonetheless, look, but this has been the problem. I mean, again, here's what kind of happened. It's the new NFL free agency. You get to get excited when you hear these names, but all these names got injury history. That's why a lot of them become free agents. And right now, it's not going in our favor other than Hufanga. All the other guys, they're still hurt all the time. And frankly, we probably made too big a deal. I don't know, man. Look, again, I'm with you. I'm going to tell you my gut and the way I'm feeling right now because that's all we can live with. This could all change. Sean always seems to get this team to figure things out by October and gets his offense together. So I'm also banking on that. Even with Russ, they got some things finally going in October that was better than September. But, dude, we may have made too big a deal about Evan Ingram. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm feeling like that too, and I hope I'm wrong too. Greenlaw, I don't know what to think about because
I think if he could ever get healthy, he's a hell of a linebacker. But I don't have to tell you, some of these super muscular guys, and he's got like muscles on top of his muscles. His muscles have muscles.
Yeah.
Some of those guys though don't stay healthy.
Somebody asked me once, you ever pull a hamstring or anything? I said, no, you can't pull fat.
That's right. But you know what? You were never out because of it, were you?
Nope. I was just out.
Well,
I was out because I stuck.
You may have been out. Most of us were never invited, so you're doing all right.
Where was Scott at? He was CD. What? Yeah, coach's decision.
Now listen, but you got to take a little more credit. It's the old pump Scott up with his bad back night. You talked about how you like some things out of Troy Franklin. Let's hope Sunday was the start of some good stuff. Because if they could have just, if they don't get the leverage stupid call and they sneak out of there with that win, are we not calling that maybe the Troy Franklin game?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. It's kind of funny because I went back and looked today and somebody broke down all of Bo Nix's passes. How many times he threw the ball over 10 yards in the air?
I heard you tell the guys, and I know wasn't it 8 or 7?
5. 5. He had the one reception that went long down at the other end. I think that to the left side of the field, which I think that was to Troy. He had an interception over 10 yards. That was one of the interceptions, and the other 3 were incomplete. He was 1 of 5 on passes over 10 yards. He was great under 10 yards. And that's my argument was on this. Well, the line graded out great. There wasn't any pressures. You're taking 2 seconds and second and a half to throw the football. They better not get any pressure. Come on, man.
Well, I had sent you this, and I don't know what to do with it because I want to preface what I'm about to read you by saying I am not a big PFF guy, the Pro Football Focus that does the rankings, and everybody Everybody wants to talk about PFF, and that's fine. But your own guy Tyler has told me, and other guys have told me in the past. Stink has mentioned it. They don't know the assignments when they're grading. They don't get the game plans. Therefore, sometimes they grade because they thought a guy blocked a guy. Well, that may not have been his guy to block. So how can you give a true grade if you don't know what the assignment truly was? So I'm not a huge Pro Football Focus, but right now, through 2 games, Pro Football Focus has Bo Nix rated 34. 34 in QBs. His offensive rating is 40.9. His passer rating is 39.0. Run is 65.2. But it all leads to him being 34th in the league, according to Pro Football Focus in their rankings. So.
And how does he do that? Because his completion percentage is unbelievable, isn't it?
Well, again, it's the short passes. I don't know, man. I'm not next gen stat guy. You know that.
Yeah.
But, and look, Bo gave you an effort that was good enough to win on Sunday. Now, again, you should not have thrown the pick. And you know what? Bo knows. I do think Bo knows. Bo knows that he could, as good as his game was, that pick's one of the things that kept you from tacking on that extra. Lutz missed one, sure, but you had field goal range right there when you threw that pick, so can't have it. But again, listen, I pointed, Nate likes to do point the finger on Mondays. We do point the finger when they lose. I said to point it at the whole team, dude. Everybody on that team contributed somehow to something stupid that cost you that game, including the coaching staff, frankly.
Yep.
So, oh well.
Well, you find a way to win in San Diego, which
in LA.
Or in LA, yeah. That they're 2.5-point dogs. I think that's pretty good. They're only 2.5-point dogs. But you find a way to win that game. I think you're going to beat Cincinnati now, to be honest with you. And then Philly, I think that's probably a no-hoper.
Well, but see, here's the thing. Sean gives us one shocking win every year. One shocking win. Remember when they weren't supposed to be Tampa Bay because they were terrible and Bo didn't look right, and then they went in there and they beat Tampa Bay? And then a couple of years ago, it was the Monday Nighter against the Bills. They ain't beating the Bills. Come on. They came out and they beat the Bills. So maybe Philly will be their surprise win of the year this year. It's an October game. It's usually when those things happen for Sean. I'm telling you, for whatever reason, Sean's record is just fine in September. It's really good in October in his coaching career, not just with the Broncos, in his coaching career. Part of me is like, does Sean come out with too much complicated crap and then decides to pare some things down when he gets to October? I don't know what it is, but he always gets his crap together in October.
Yeah, it might be. Maybe they're still, in, so to speak, installation, right? They've got so much stuff putting in there, or maybe they're not doing enough self-evaluation of themselves in the preseason of what works and what doesn't work, and you just stay stubborn. I want to do this. Well, you ain't got the kind of players.
Do you realize R.J. Harvey and J.K. Dobbins carried the ball 19 times in that game? Why can we just not get to say? To me, give me 25. Between the two backs, give me 25 carry. Shit, 25 used to be Terrell's good game.
Dallas.
What's that?
How many carries did Javonte Williams get in Dallas?
It's a great question. I don't know.
Because I watched that game, and you know what? Javonte Williams looks pretty good.
Yeah, he does. And good for him. I'm not rooting against him. I liked Javonte. I not have a problem with them releasing him, but.
Well, I talked to somebody who was a physical therapist with the Nuggets. He said, all of our statistics show us that everybody thinks, year after ACL, you're good. And he said, no, it's 2. He said, most guys we've charted and followed, it's that second year after ACL that they bounce back and have a chance to be as good as they were. Well, guess what? This is now 2 years removed for Javonte.
I'm with you, but again, the guy's running style. Here's my thing, too. Let's check in on some of this stuff about Halloween when they've had a few games and taken a few hits, and you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, how many touchdowns did he have all last year?
I don't know. All I know is somebody had tweeted out that multiple touchdown game he had the game in week 1 was like his first multiple touchdown game in 3 years or something.
Since
So
before the injury.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, but
But
I'm not. The injury is the injury, but he didn't get a whole lot of opportunities last year.
no, it's fair enough because look, I like J.K. Dobbins. I like what I've seen so far. Now there's another guy that needs to show he can stay healthy, but that dude's got a feel for the hole. I mean, I'd like you to run him a little bit more. I really would. I'm
Well,
not so sure Bo Nix would be too upset with you if you run him a little bit more. But when I say run again, give him a fullback. Go some big personnel. Get in there. Get after it.
would have been so bad to pick up Dobbins, have Javonte Williams still on your team, and instead of drafting Warren or drafting
Harvey.
you find a way to get him and get Warren.
Well, I don't, but you would have had to have somebody that wanted to do the deal with you.
Well, what pick did he go to Indy? Didn't he just go right in front of you?
No, it was like 12. Here, I can go get it. 12, because you got to remember, Colston's the one. The Bears got stupid with Colston and got everything nutty by taking him at 9. So I believe it was like 12 or 13 is where he ended up going.
And you drafted 21.
You drafted 20.
20.
Okay, let's see. Ty Warren.
Warren's the kid I liked out of
13th overall.
Yeah, he's the kid of the 2 big tight ends. That's the one I really liked.
Hold on. That isn't him. Isn't it Ty Warren? Isn't that his name?
I thought so.
Just gave me Ty Warren of the Patriots. 14th overall. All right. That's kind of crazy. 2 guys at the same damn name.
So some way you would have had to try to find a way to move up 6.
You would have, but listen, this is all what it is right now. It's early in the season. I'm not going to have a panic attack because, again, I didn't think this was a Super Bowl year. I just didn't. So if they could still pull that off, and I went back, frankly, I'll say this. I went back and looked at the scores of the 2015 defense that I was hoping I could squint and see in this team during camp. And the 2015 defense, they still gave up some 20 points here and there. So my point being, look, you shook your head. I don't think this team is not going to go to the Super Bowl, in my opinion. But I don't think they need to. I think you need to try to win the division. I think you need to try to win a playoff game. There's a growth period. All this talk about them leaving Baltimore and Buffalo and going to the state just is nuts. It was nuts to me. And I think we're seeing evidence that it is nuts.
If you lose this game this weekend,
you got some work to do.
Then I'll ask you this: how did the Chargers not win the division?
I don't know because let's say the Chiefs go and pull another whatever they're doing right now and go and lose to the Giants and go to 0-3.
Now, and you want to hear something funny because I was with my Kansas guys this weekend. That game in Brazil between the Chiefs and the Chargers in week 1, that was the Chiefs' home game.
Yep.
So the Chiefs got to play the Chargers again this year, but guess where they get to play them? In L.A.
Well, there you go. So the Chiefs, all this extra football, finally. Here's what I think's going on, quite honestly. I think every Super Bowl loser tastes a little bit of disappointment. You lost a chance for 3 in a row, Scotty, and you were in the game. You were in the game to get to 3 in a row, which nobody's ever done. I can only imagine how, I remember nothing really quite felt right with the Broncos in 2014 after getting their butts kicked in 2013. I can only imagine what it feels like when you were in the game to finally get that 3rd trophy in a row that nobody's ever done. And so I think they're out of sorts. And frankly, Travis Kelce, he looks like a guy who keeps telling himself he wants to play football, but he's got too much worth paying attention to that ain't football. So
yeah, he. Listen. Let's be honest. The Chiefs probably win that game if he catches a football he catches 3 years ago, and he let it go right through his arms, pop up in the air because that was down on the 1 yard line.
Yep.
He's probably scoring a touchdown there. I mean that turned the whole game around. That changed the game right there. That ended Kansas City's chances.
All right, I got to ask you: as the Rockies are losing 5-3, The only interesting thing left in the Rockies season is, does D-Mac have to take the walk?
Well, I hope it comes down to game 162 to not tie the record.
I hope you're right.
That's what I'm hoping. That being said, and I
I
said
believe they're
today,
tied. I think it would go ahead.
if they're tied now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If they end up winning 42 or 43, so they win 2 more games in the last 10. Now you're just talking about you don't have the record. That's great. Guess what? You're talking about a crappy team and organization. And now you have. I mean, now you're like, who are you? Now, Chicago's followed up with 41 wins last year, and they got 57 before today. So it ain't like they're lighting things back up on fire. They're just trying to get so I guess they wouldn't lose 100. But they ain't lighting things up. It wasn't like this was a 1-year demise for the White Sox. They're not real good this year either.
Well, the Rockies have lost over 300 games in 3 years. 300 games, Scotty.
And what if this team yells, "Oh, it'll turn around next year"?
None of it. Warren Schaefer trying to convince you that it will so he can have his job, that the future's bright. That's it. Dude,
Well,
even Kyle, we were playing audio from Kyle Freeland that Steve Nelson sent us all, man. Kyle Freeland's broken. Other than saying, please don't bail on us. I promise you, hopefully it'll get better, but it's a bad time right now. That's all I could say. So.
Well, when you need to pitch great, he plays like crap, throws the guy, gets ejected. But then people forget his next start, he was great, and they still blew the game.
Well, yeah. Kyle Freeland, I root for Kyle Freeland not to be a Rocky anymore. I really do. He's a guy that I think could still be something to some major league team. I'm not sure he's a first 3 starter anymore, but he could still get some stuff done. So, whatever. The Buffs, man. The Buffs. Dude. That was a rough game. That was a rough watch Friday night.
Tough
that was
game.
A rough watch.
And you got a coach that's living in la la land when he says, "I don't know, well, you need identity. You need to win." Well, how many teams with no identities ever win? Maybe identity and winning is the chicken and the egg. Which came first?
Yeah. You got to have. Let me ask you this, though. Here's the thing. I guess I could see why you're like, what's an identity? When you're constantly flipping your roster, I don't know how you get an identity, because I've been asking everybody.
Tougher. Well, but I heard Coach Sanford talking about the Chargers today, talking about John Harbaugh, and he coached with Harbaugh when he was the head coach at Stanford. And he says this guy, wherever he goes, whether it's Stanford, 49ers, Michigan, and now here, he is tough playing, hard hitting teams. That's what he's known for. So you can sit there and say, well, you got guys coming in and guys are going out and you're losing this. Okay, but what's your standards? And maybe we got to move the word from identity to what are your standards? And
okay, I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Because people are saying right now about the Chargers, dude, they hit you. I mean, they're a physical team. This is the Chargers. This is Eric Coryell. This is Dan Fouts. Throw the ball 60 times. Chargers. You never worried about it because you figured if you could punch them in the mouth, you'd beat them. They were always kind of a finesse team.
Yeah, fair enough. But they always seem to get injured too. It's almost as if they've got the worst training staff in all of professional sports. By the way, Marlins just went yard again. It's now 7-3 in the top of the 8th.
Now bring in a coach like Harbaugh, he says, okay, whatever identity, here's what our standard is. Our standard is we're going to stand up there and punch you in the mouth and see how long you can take it. Can you take it for 60 minutes? He did it at Michigan. He did it at Stanford. Did it at the 49ers. Let's see. Let's see. Well, that's not an identity, maybe, if you don't want to call it that, but it's a standard.
Fair enough, man.
Standard. They don't know.
Look, I had a guy tell me that I trust knows what he's talking about. Said they don't recruit guys that know how to tackle when it comes to defense. I go, why is the defense so bad? He goes, because they don't recruit guys that know how to tackle. That's why. They can't tackle. They don't play physical, and that's not the guys they're looking for. So,
how much you working? Stanford told us a story when he was at Stanford. And first of all, his coaching style was a little different. He didn't believe in coaches meetings, stuff like that. But he said they went on basically situational drill. First and 10, second and 6 type thing. Harbaugh said, "Screw that." He said, "Hey, let's get the chains out here." And he said, "I can't believe," he said, like it went an hour or whatever. He said they just played football. They played real live action, take you to the ground, punch you in the mouth, football. And think about it when he was there in the Pac-12. At one time, Stanford was considered the most physical team in the Pac-12.
between Harbaugh and Shaw, they were not fun to play against.
Yeah, I mean that was Stanford again, one of those kind of fast, typical Pac-12 type of teams. We'll do this. So listen, I know we talk about CU, but I disagree with Prime on this. Um, if you don't want to call identity, fine. Then what's your standard? Because you ain't hitting nobody in the mouth right now.
No, you're not. And it's
No
what's funny
right now.
What's funny about it shows you that size isn't always the great factor, because when you look at them, like that O line, it's standing next to him on the sideline finally. Because when I go to a road game, I can actually go and pee on. I can actually do my job and walk the sidelines and have enough room to go side to side, north and south, and all that. Every one of those O linemen's got at least half a foot on me. They all look the part. They all look like they should be a road great and offensive line, but it ain't happening. So
they got one big problem. Offensive coordinator should not be offensive coordinator.
yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to feel that way, so I think it could get interesting. I know this. Gary Barnett said on the broadcast multiple times he doesn't want to see a bubble screen the rest of the year.
Tyler brought this up on the show today. You got Brian Leftwich in there. Byron Leftwich was the offensive coordinator in Tampa for a few years, wasn't he? Wasn't he in Tampa when Tom Brady won a Super Bowl?
He was thought to be a hot head coaching candidate, and then it just kind of went away. So
why didn't you let him be the offensive coordinator?
Fair enough. But yeah, look, I got no problem with that. I didn't even think about that, but that's a great point. I would agree. Because I don't know what this thing is right now. I know you got a ton of names. And listen, Mark Johnson told me they talked to Marshall Falk on the coach's show last week, and apparently Marshall Falk had these great insights into running the ball, and it's another team that I think if you could dedicate to it. I mean, you know how to look. Running the ball is one of those things, and the Broncos are guilty of it too. It's not always going to look good in the first quarter, and sometimes not in the second, but it's something you got to keep doing. You know what I mean? Going for a jog every day is not going to make you slim in 2 months, but you got to keep going. And 6 months is where it pays off. And I learned this best. Again, I'll go back to the 2015 Broncos. Gary Kubiak made sure they ran the ball consistently. You know what? Come third, fourth quarter, when you've tired out that defense because your old linemen got to go be the aggressors and not the go backwards guys all the time, you wear some people out, and then you start seeing the 5-yard run, the 3-yard run become a 7 or 8-yard run.
Well, what was the key? What was the key in Super Bowl 32?
Run the ball. Gilbert Brown, Mark Schler's told us the story. He said it on this podcast. Gilbert Brown didn't want to get up from the ground anymore. They knocked his ass. They blocked him so many times. He got to the point he was more worried about where they were going to block him than watching the run play. Because, again, you did it consistently. You didn't just do it here and there. Okay.
And then all of a sudden you start big play.
But all right, well.
But how about this? So let Byron Leftwich call some plays and let the guy that's helping him out is what'd you say the running backs coach is?
Marshall Falk's the running backs coach.
Why don't you let Marshall Falk and Byron Leftwich decide what you're going to do offensively?
Fair enough. I'm in.
Seriously. Because I can see this. When you got old school, old former head coach dudes that, I guess Pat Shurmur played somewhere. I don't know. He probably played football sometime. I could just see him going in there, and seeing Byron had some success as a pro quarterback. had some success, got a Super Bowl ring, by the way, as an offensive coordinator. And you got a guy that's basically a Hall of Fame running back. You ain't listening to them, then that means you got too much ego because you got to protect your turf. I didn't like him when he hired him 3 years ago, and I hate him right now because guess what? You said it on your show today. I think it was today. Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter covered a lot of sins.
Well, yeah.
They covered a lot of sins, and when you need to get back in the game late somehow or whatever, one of them two cats is making a play. You know what? And by the way, don't forget you got 3 other receivers that are on NFL teams this year that was on that squad too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You had talent.
You did have talent, but and you know, maybe Shedeur really wasn't running Pat Shurmur's offense as was suggested because it looked a lot better last year. Listen, I don't think anybody in the chat is going to tell you that they think Pat Shurmur should be calling plays. I don't think anybody is. All right. We saw it in Denver. I thought it was a weird hire up there, but I think that's one of those things where Dion just likes his NFL guys. He grabbed a guy with an NFL resume, but here we are. So
just Byron Leftwich. He's done it before. Let him have the reins, dog.
All right. What you got for Sunday? You ready to predict something, or are you still feeling it out?
Feeling out a little bit, but I think Ellie's soccer team can pull one out. Should be a tough one.
Good. She going to get any goals? What's her plus minus?
Oh, I don't know. She scored a few.
Oh.
She had three. She had 3 last weekend.
All right. Well, you take your pea coat off and go slip into your silk war cleaver jammies so you could go to bed.
This is 3/4. 3/4 button. You ever heard of 3/4 zip?
Yeah.
This is a 3/4 button.
I know, but it has a very English look to it.
You don't feel, you know what?
I think you've been watching too much Downton Abbey, and so now you feel like you need to dress like your people.
Watched every year of Downton Abbey, and I got to see the first movie, too. The first movie's outstanding.
And now you're wearing pea coats. Okay, it's all good.
Not a coat. It's a 3/4 button-up. Look at those big buttons, too.
You're really defensive of his article of clothing.
I like this.
I didn't tell you that I hated it. I just said it looks a little English. That's all. So go drink your Bass Ale and, whatever. And we'll...
Guinness.
Well, that's not English. That's Irish.
Well, but they drink it in England. Newcastle. Guess they have Newcastle. Balmers. I like Balmers.
Didn't you say that?
That's cider.
Okay. All right.
I like a little tea.
All right. Follow us on Twitter, folks, because, again, for those that weren't here early, we may try to do this Tuesday. What do you mean, no?
No, don't follow me. Follow you.
Well, don't follow him. But the bottom line is we're going to tell you when we're going to do it. Let's play it Tuesday at 9 o'clock, Tuesday at 9 o'clock, Tuesday at 9 o'clock. Hopefully you all heard that. And we'll do it then because, it's always an Andy problem, but,
It is always an Andy problem.
Well, I got a kid that can't drive yet who's trying to do stuff at the high school. So until he can drive, which is December, we got to try to pull this off. Look, all hell's going to break loose anyway. You'll be traveling with the Nuggets. We're going to blink our eyes and you're going to be on the road again, homie. The Avs get it going Sunday.
We're going to try to stay up with things.
We will. I can't wait for the Nuggets. You kidding me? Hey, every outcome like Sunday has got me counting down the Nuggets even harder and harder. I can't wait to watch the Nuggets team.
We got to touch this before we go. News out of the Avalanche. Gabe Landeskog, full go.
Well, did you see him today? We could touch on that real quick. Did you see him today picking up a phone and answering the guy's phone and getting everybody laughing again? That's what they missed. Captain's back. Although, Blackwood's got some kind of, he's week to week already. Blackwood did something in the early warm-ups, and so your top goalie's week to week. The world. All right. We'll talk to you all next week.
On
Y'all
Tuesday.
come back here. On Tuesday.
Yeah,
9 o'clock.
And maybe this Sunday at halftime.
Maybe.
Yeah, you keep having people come over to your house. Hey, again.
It ain't about the people coming over to the house. It's me not sure what the hell's going on in this game.
I'm sitting in a pub, an empty pub, with my Kansas guys ready to do a thing, and it's Andy. Well, I've got all my guys over here.
Oh, because you in a pub's gonna have you paying attention. You know what we would have got? We'd have got this shot all night long. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm checking the game out, and
no, you got me just like this. Look at this jacket. Look at the 3/4.
it's a sweet pea coat.
It's not a coat. It's a 3/4 button up.
All right, go get into your silk jammies with your appropriate collar. Put on your smoking jacket. Turn the lights down low, and
that thing up in the wintertime and keep your neck nice and warm.
yeah. Well, okay.
Okay,
You got a cold neck? What the hell's the beard doing you if you got a cold neck, Sanders?
Well, look, this covers the back. I got the beard double insulation up front. Well, I can do funny things with my beard right now. I'm not sure how much longer it's lasts. Look, I can do this. Look.
It looks, please. What are you doing? Look, Uncle Jesse, you need to shave that thing.
Hold on.
What are you doing?
What do you think?
I think you need to shave it. That's it. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you seeing yourself on the camera?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me do this one too. Let me do the Viking.
No.
No. Do a little Lou Albano.
We were at a barbecue joint in Houston, and some guy came in with one of those, the braided beard. He had it shooting off in two directions, and the thing was like down to his knees. Coach Barnett was like, what the hell is that?
I saw a guy come in and say, it was in Denver, so red hair, and it built like he looked like a Viking, and it was built like a Viking from a movie. Big, strong, and he had this thing. He had two braids coming down each side, and into the middle. It was sweet.
You wish you could have one of those, don't you?
Wish I could.
Yeah. You ain't getting no raw and down the middle.
Well, I might be able to get one small braid going.
Very small. Twist that thing up again. Look, I mean, come on. That ain't even a braid. I don't even know what that is. That's dental floss. You got some Irish in you because that ain't a great beard. I hate to tell you.
Oh, my God. Oh, my. It's not what your wife said.
Hey, tell Julie I'll be by tomorrow as you head out to your work.
Okay, I appreciate that. Pay the painter.
All right. We'll talk to you all either next week or maybe at halftime.
Shout out to Foothills Painting. Thank you, guys.
For what?
Well, they're painting my house.
For free?
Oh, hell no.
Then you ain't shouting nothing out.
Oh, okay.
Hey, if you want to pay to get shouted out, call Scotty. Good
Hey,
night.
well, I'm sure one. No, I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah. Goodbye.
All right, love you.